Lori-Vallow's competency to stand trial is in question. A judge ordered to suspend Vallow's trial until a later date. She and her husband, Chad Daybell, are charged with the murder of Vallow's two kids, Vallow and Tylee Ryan. Vallow's trial was scheduled for January of 2023. Both Lori and Chad have pled not guilty. And News Channel 7's Andrew Bartline read through those court documents and spoke with a criminal defense expert. The court decided Vallow was competent back in April. Andrew, can she fall back to competency like that again?
Well, in Idaho, the defendant has to understand the charges against them, at least to the point where their attorney can work in their defense. And given Vallow's history, criminal defense attorney David Leroy says this is not a typical situation.
Well, if you're looking for flip-flops in this trial, there are plenty.
The court deemed Lori Vallow fit to stand trial in April after 11 months of competency restoration. She's charged with the murder of her two children, Vallow and Tylee Ryan. Recent court documents show questions into Vallow's competency, suspending the trial until a later date.
This is a situation that makes very little mental health sense right from the outset.
David Leroy is a criminal defense attorney and the former Idaho Attorney General. He says the normal competency restoration period is 1 to 2 months. By this standard, Vallow's restoration period was abnormally long. She had been deemed competent for nearly 6 months up to this point.
It's not unique, and it's not unreasonable. And in a crime as confusing as this one, it's probably realistic, but it's not very frequent that you see this.
Vallow's grandmother, Kay Woodcock, sent KTVB a statement yesterday reading in part, quote, "The court is wasting time even considering her competency. She's doing what she does best, playing games and manipulating this situation to suit her wants, her needs. It's a stall tactic. She doesn't want to face her consequences, but Leroy says that's unlikely."
I don't think it's reasonably possible to be malingering at this late point in this significant case. If there are mental health problems here, if the judge has signed this order based on evidence, there's evidence.
Vallow and Chad Daybell are co-defendants in a joint trial. Chad Daybell has asked to split the trial and proceed in a solo trial no later than October 2023. Leroy says splitting a joint trial is uncommon, but possible, depending on Vallow's competency.
If Chad's trial proceeds apace in regular order, then he will likely be tried separately if Lori is not immediately restored to competency.
Leroy believes it would be an advantage for Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow to go through their own individual trials, because at that point, they have the freedom to point fingers at the other person. In a joint trial, Shira, that's just simply not an option. A few uncommon and unique situations here in the trial right now. Leroy says it looks to be benefiting Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow.
Yeah, it's interesting that he said flip-flops in this trial, because we've definitely seen a lot of that.
Yeah, nothing stayed the same, it seems.
All right. Thanks, Andrew.